My name is Ryan Curran, and I'm going to be doing my presentation for my Introduction to Research proposal for the Introduction to Research course, Part 1 at Alliant University. So for me, the biggest challenge that I'm facing as an elementary physical education teacher is um, the classroom figuring out physical education lesson plans that are effective and support classroom management for 50 or more students at once. And the reason I wrote 50 or more students is because I'm currently teaching elementary physical education, and I usually will have class sizes between 50 to 60 students. Certain times during the day, I'll get lucky and I'll have a single class that's only 20 to 25 students, but generally, most of my classes are over 50 students. So the biggest challenge for me is that faces my classroom specifically is finding lesson plans and activities that are appropriate for physical education that are in a very, very large group. So my hypothesis is if students are taught a lesson plan that is both entertaining and structured, it will be easier to teach large class sizes because it will result in better classroom management. So to me, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on classroom management because I believe that with really large class groups being over 50, I think classroom management, it plays a huge role in how productive the class time actually is. And I think it's kind of a which came first, the chicken or an egg situation. Does good classroom management lead to good lesson plans, or do good lesson plans lead to easier classroom management? Because you can argue that you could have a good lesson plan, but if the class management is not good, the lesson plan is never going to come across and be successful. But you can also argue if the lesson plan is a good lesson plan and it is structured correctly and entertaining for the students, then that will positively affect classroom management, and therefore classroom management won't be as much of an issue. I don't know which one comes first exactly, but my understanding and my beliefs are that if I'm structuring the class correctly and the lesson plans are fitting for larger groups of students, it makes the classroom management much easier. So my first research question to dive a little deeper is, what are the perceptions of students regarding their learning experiences in physical education classes with large class sizes? So this question, I would do some kind of poll or questionnaire for students, and I would ask them what do they like about PE, what do they not like about PE. I would want to get some kind of understanding about what they think is good and what they think is not as good for PE class, what they don't like, what they do like. And if a lot of students are mentioning a specific topic, then that's something that is very potential that we could work on in class. Or if they're all mentioning something that they all like, most likely that's something that I would continue implementing into future lesson plans. That would be considered qualitative data. Um, Question 2, what are the primary challenges faced by physical education teachers when designing lesson plans for large class sizes? So this is more geared towards other PE teachers. So I know a lot of other physical education teachers in my school district, and I can do a questionnaire or a poll with them, and I can ask what they think are the primary challenges faced. And I would want to specifically ask teachers that are also working with large groups of students. And luckily, most PE classes are large size, not quite as large as the elementary size. And I also want to emphasize discussing teachers with a wide variety of experience. So obviously, I can learn something from another first-year teacher like myself, but it's also very valuable to get information from someone who's been teaching physical education for 25 years. Question 3, how do physical education teachers adapt lesson plans to accommodate diverse student abilities and learning styles in large class settings? This is extremely important. When I have really large class settings or class sizes, I end up by default having students who are very diverse in their learning abilities. I have students who have disabilities. I have students who are English language learners. I have students who have a wide variety of disabilities and behavioral issues and a wide variety of different languages that they speak. I teach students who speak Armenian, who speak primarily Russian, who speak primarily Spanish. So in the district that I work in, there is a pretty vast, a wide variety of students that I'm teaching. And one of the two elementary schools which I teach at is a school that specializes in a behavioral program, and I end up getting some of those students. So it's not only a disability topic or a topic of language, it is also a topic of behavior and how that affects and how that can make a student more diverse and affect the way that they learn. So that's extremely important to me, that third one. So what type of data will be used? You can tell by my former 3 questions that qualitative data will be the primary source of data I'll be using, because all those questions are questions that can be answered by me asking students or by me asking other physical education teachers. Qualitative data describes qualities or characteristics. It's collected using questionnaires, interviews, or observations. I would like to use some quantitative data potentially and do a mixed method. And if I'm doing quantitative data, obviously I'm going off of specific statistics and research that is in more statistic based. So the components of my research process is the main question, which I've already discussed, the main challenge actually, and then the 3 questions that we previously discussed: what are the perceptions of students, what are the primary challenges faced by other PE teachers, and then how do physical education teachers adapt lesson plans for diverse learners. And then I have, after that, would go into collection of existing literatures. I have 2 on here, but I have much more than that I'm going to be using. And then the steps for writing literature review, which is 1, find relative literature; 2, evaluate sources; 3, identify themes, debates, and gaps; 4, outline the structure; and 5, write literature review. And then I'm going over what data will be collected. It'll be qualitative, like I've said. Data collection, how I'm going to do it. So observation, I'm planning on doing a lot of data collection and using polls and questionnaires and then putting it on an Excel spreadsheet. Data analysis, I'll be using the Excel spreadsheet to analyze it, or other programs that allow me to look at similarities and answers between PE teachers and students, and what becomes a very evident topic or part of discussion that gets brought up a lot. And then stating the findings, so that would be doing the research or writing the research paper and my findings. Literature summary, I have 5 pieces of literature listed here. I have 2 books, a journal article, another journal, and a website article. I'll definitely end up finding more than that. And here are the references, and that wraps up my presentation for week 8 of Introduction to Research.